Our top story this hour, we're getting in new lines on the post-mortem into the death of TV doctor Michael Mosley.
It's been reported that there were no visible injuries and that all indications are that Mosley died of natural causes.
Well, freelance journalist Daphne Talise joins us now from Athens. Daphne, thank you very much indeed. I know you've been following this story with great interest. Obviously, we now hear the tragic news that he sadly passed, likely of natural causes. Can you explain to us a little bit about the area in which he was holidaying, what that terrain is like? Is it an area where there are lots of tourists? It appears quite remote from the pictures I've seen. Tell us a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. The Dr. Mosley and his wife were on the island of Simi. Apologies, the cat has grown. He was on the island of Simi. It's a small island, very picturesque, very idyllic, but it's also very rocky, very hilly, and there's little shade on this island. So although it is a very small island, its terrain is not so easy. It's not so easily walkable. I mean, there are some footpaths, laid out footpaths, and others that are not so laid out. The fact is that on that day, the heat was extreme. There was a heat wave all week, actually, last week. There was a heat wave well above 40, 42 degrees. This is something that no human actually can really adjust to, these temperatures under the intense sun. I spoke to the coroner this morning after the postmortem myself, and he told me the cause of death is, it cannot be specified or determined because the body was found in it was decayed to an extent that he could not, they could not find the exact cause of death. But it seems that there was no injury, he hadn't fallen, he hadn't hurt his head or anything like that. So it is, as we have seen all these past few days when the search was ongoing, all over the land, but also the sea. It's very difficult unless you have a specific area where to look. When it's rocky, when it's there's parts where it's the rocks are a bit curved down, so it's small ravines maybe. You have to have a clear indication of where to look. This seems that the first couple of days they were looking on the other side of the bay where he had set off from the beach. He had started walking. He was seen, captured on a CCTV, like a digital, viewing. Last digital sighting was on this CCTV camera, seen wearing the clothes that he was wearing the day that he was missing on Wednesday, carrying the umbrella. But with the timestamp and the date stamp that we know of, it was really in the middle of the day, noon, past noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock p.m., which means that this is when it's extremely hot, when we are going through a heat wave, which was the case on Wednesday and on Thursday as well. Now, the coroner also told me that Dr. Michael Mosley likely died that day, on the same day. So after he had set off, after he had reached, nearly made it to that beach bar, he was found in one of these rocky area, and these rocky areas that you're now showing part of on the side of a fence, where you can see that it's a bit hilly. So if you're lying down and you're on the level of the ground, it's difficult to be visible from a distance unless there's a camera, unless there's a very big zoom lens, unless there's someone that goes physically close to there. Now, Agia Marina Beach is only mainly reachable by boat. There is a way you can walk, as it seems that Dr. Michael Mosley did walk, but it's not the usual way to. I mean, it's more like the exception to take this route than the norm, because it's a long hike, and the temperature were indeed extreme that day, which is something that we do see every summer in Greece, well over 40 degrees Celsius.
So tragic how he was so close to that bar, and if he'd have gone just a bit further, things would have been so very different. But if I'm understanding you correctly, it seems that he was on this walk, having a bit of an adventure, perhaps at the wrong time of the day, took a wrong turn, and the heat was bearing down too much that he sort of just collapsed.
Yes. Well, obviously, we cannot know exactly what what happened and where and how, and whether he was he knew that he took the wrong turn or not. Obviously, we cannot know now that. The fact is that there was no phone with him either. So if he wanted to contact someone, if you're walking on this hike, can be like 2-hour hike, and you have you don't see any other person on the way, or, then you have to get somewhere. That's what everyone would do. They try to get to somewhere. We know that this island is small, it's safe, it's light, you can see something. So you're just walking, I guess, along a path, even though that it's not, there's no cars on that path, there's no motorbikes, but you're just walking, hoping you will end up on a beach, somewhere where there's a beach bar on the next village, which unfortunately he was it seemed that he was so close to getting to that beach bar where others were there swimming and sunbathing.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Daphne Tullis, you're a freelance journalist based in Athens.